Hello, and welcome to Ask a Pathfinder's Player Advice. Today, we will be looking at truly neutral characters and how to play them in your game. Let's get into it. Okay, to begin, while playing a truly neutral character, one must always remember that, like with any character, true neutral characters are not without personalities. Many are under the misapprehension that to play a neutral character, one must be emotionless, lacking in motivation, and of course, above all else, must have no alignment or qualms with morals. This is completely not true. Okay. Any character you play at a game has a little bit of color. And that's what you got to remember, is that these games are all about having a vibrant and interesting character. Even your truly neutral characters must be interesting in some way, shape, or form. As always with these videos, I'm going to start off by telling you guys what I have told you every time you try to design an alignment-based character, and that is, of course, don't swing for the fences! That's correct, do not try to swing for the fences, but this time slightly different. And no, you can't swing for the fences. That's not what the difference is. The difference is by not swinging for the fences with neutral characters, it's more about not playing an intentionally bland character and trying to force your character to be as bland as possible. A common mistake many people make is thinking that neutral comes down to you trying to balance everything out or trying to simply not do anything at all, and that is how to play a neutral character. You can play neutral characters that way, but it's wrong. And I very rarely say this, but it is wrong. The reason it's wrong is because you're not playing organically anymore. You're not playing in a style. You are trying to force an alignment character, which just isn't how any of the characters should be. You need to have your motivation. You need to have your desires. Neutral is the only alignment character that is more like a canvas that is starting out in this way. A good example is Jeff the Baker. Now, Jeff the Baker starts out neutral. Why does he start out neutral? Well, he gets up in the morning, he goes to work, he doesn't cheat on anyone. He gives, people bread and patisseries at the reasonable price. If he sees danger, he does run away from it because, well, he's a baker. What's he going to do? He's going to spend most of his time looking after his and his own. And of course, he is neither good nor evil. He's not a very charitable person, but at the same time, he doesn't go around eating babies. So, really, he is just a neutral character. Now, this is a great starting point for an adventurer. All of a sudden, Jeff's bakery burns down. He gets thrown into this huge conundrum as a group of scrawny rogues decide to frame him for the murder of someone he doesn't even know. He gets thrown in jail as he meets this grizzled old prisoner who tells him that you will go and avenge your dead wife and child, and here's a sword, and it's dangerous to go alone. Whatever the case may be, Jeff now then evolves and becomes something else. He learns heroism, he becomes chaotic, he becomes this, he becomes that. Neutral is that starting point. And you got to remember that, is that you shouldn't be constantly trying to fight to be neutral, right? You should be whatever alignment comes naturally to you from the neutral position. If you find your character's personality is leading them towards chaotic good, be chaotic good. If it then takes a sudden twist and turn and makes you lawful neutral, but you just go for that. Don't fall into the trap of swinging for the fences by forcing your character to not have a thought or opinion. The biggest problem with that isn't that you're going to affect your character. Like, you're still going to roleplay, you're still going to have a good time. The problem then comes in when you are forced to contribute to your group and your group decisions. Because there's nothing worse than someone who is always on the fence on everything. And that is what neutral characters aren't. They are not on the fence. They have motivations, they have beliefs, they have ideals. They just want to do it in their own way, which doesn't try to be overly good or overly chaotic or overly evil. They just go at their own pace in very small amounts. Now, a lot of people ask me the very simple question: why are animals neutral, and why are some creatures automatically something, 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 something? Animals are run off their base instincts. They eat, living creatures to survive, and blah, 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 blah. So why is it that they're neutral? Well, you can play a neutral character in that sense, but really the neutrality in that area for animals comes from the fact that they are not sentient. They are not aware of a higher level of thinking. That is why eating a cow or eating a pig is not considered an evil act, because they are simply livestock or not a high enough evolved life form. Humans, however, being so, should know better than to be relying on their base instinct and turning into what is fundamentally an animal. So playing a neutral character in that regard is more like playing a chaotic or an evil character, where you're giving in to your animalistic urges or your more carnal lifestyle. So yeah, don't worry too much about that. Animal neutrality is completely different to player neutrality. Okay. What are some good tips and tricks? First and foremost, you need to find yourself a neutral character that you latched onto or enjoy. Don't try to do neutrality without seeing something with it first. My favorite example, for those of you who can't think of any off the top of your head, would be Baymax from Big Hero 6. A great movie, I quite enjoyed it, and Baymax himself is one of the main protagonists of this adventure. As obviously you have Hero, who is the main character. Baymax is neutral. He is an advanced medical robot who is there to ensure Hero's, health and well-being. He gets tricked and pushed and prodded into becoming a superhero by the very, energetic young man. And that's great. That's fantastic. Hero is a good character. Chaotic good character at that, but, a good character by nature. He sort of is the one who spearheads all these ideas and updates and changes his system so that he is more heroic and has kung fu moves. But Baymax himself is only ever interested in health and well-being. Not because he is good, but because that's what he's programmed to do. It is his nature. His manner of speech, also very neutral. He doesn't get worked up, he doesn't get angry, he doesn't get upset. Now, of course, this falls into that emotionalist category, but it is something that doesn't carry any resentment or overpowering emotion. And that's how to kind of play that neutral in my head, at least. So if you ever take a chance to look at that's a really good example of a neutral type of character. Another great example would be Ultron or Captain Manhattan. These are really good neutral characters, ones who believe themselves almost in an alien sense of understanding, like they are trying to learn stuff. It's not that we are good or we are evil, is we are trying to understand the difference, like what is good, what is evil. I am conflicted at what the difference is and why I should be one over another. Warforged from the old Eberron series are a great example of where neutrality had an almost tangible effect on a player's personality, where you were trying to discover whether or not you had a soul and what happened when people were treating you like just a hunk of metal, right? These characters starting off as neutral were always, eventually turned into something, but their conflict is what gave birth to that neutrality. All right, so the last thing I want to leave you guys with is, of course, the balanced neutrality. Now, balanced neutrality is basically when someone tries to play the balancing game. I do 3 evil acts and 3 good acts, and therefore I am neutral. I do 4 chaotic acts and 2 lawful acts, therefore I am neutral. It's kind of like you can't play a numbers game with it. You can't try and weigh it up, because at that point you are not playing your character anymore. You're not feeling and organically moving through the adventure with your narrative. You are focused entirely on just trying to play a numbers game with numbers that don't really exist. There is actually no mechanical reason why you should be playing like that, and there's no mechanical benefit either. So instead of that, just remember that your character should evolve as they go through. That means, yes, one moment they could be chaotic neutral, the next minute they could be lawful neutral. But play it out. Just let it happen and go with the flow. That is, I think, the best way to play not only neutral characters, but any alignment-based characters. Just because you start out the adventure as a lawful good paladin does not mean you can't take the leap, take the stumble, have a conflicting interest in what happens to your deity, lose faith in your church, and then have your character fall, and then retrain. It's like, yes, I am currently a paladin, but my god has forsaken me. I'm going to turn to Asmodeus. Hey, Asmodeus, do you want to have me on? Yeah, sure, why not? Very well, I will change and take levels of anti-paladin with the Iron Tyrant variant. So I am now a lawful evil anti-paladin as I have changed and fallen. Evolving alignments is very important for your game, especially when you're playing an alignment-based character. The last thing that I'm going to leave you with is this one saying to wrap up all my alignment videos. And I'd like, some big text or something to say this out. Your alignment does not define you. Your actions define your alignment. And that is always the case. Alright guys, thank you very much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this series on alignment. If you haven't checked it out already, I hope that on Facebook I actually have a whole system on how to remove alignment from Pathfinder 1st edition that you should definitely check out, because honestly it is one of those things that a lot of people like myself do believe that is an outdated bit of the game. And even though it is in the game and there are lots of different spells and abilities that rely on it, I've taken those things into account and given them and taken away, and go check it out. It's really cool. If you are playing your own alignment characters, leave a message in the comments and tell us what was your most dominant alignment based character and what made them fun and interesting to play. If you want to check me out, go visit me on Facebook at facebook.com/AskAPathfinder, or if you want to talk to me directly, I love chatting with people. If you've got your own shows, you want to collaborate or run a one-shot, you can always hit me up on Discord at discord.me/AskAPathfinder. And of course, we do have a Twitter account, which is new. So twitter.com/AskAPathfinder, I believe. Don't quote me on that. The link will be somewhere. And last but not least, if you want to support us here at Ask a Pathfinder in all of our new ventures, you can become one of our cheeky goblins for as little as $1 a month. And help us make all these really cool and awesome changes, such as some of you may have noticed, a brand new green screen. This, of course, comes courtesy of my current Patreons, who, as all my Patreons do, get massive props at the end of each and every one of my videos. I love all of you guys. You guys are amazing, and you really do help me out. So if you want to join them, and perhaps even with enough support, join in one of my games. I think if memory serves, we got like a $60 Patreon. So $60 a month, and I'll put you on a table with me, GMing you every week on a Monday in Australia, Sunday in the US. And it's a fun little game. And we will be doing Pathfinder version 2 playtests on that Monday. So if you want to, go check it out. Seats are limited. And as always, guys, till next time, keep your dice rolling and make sure your ideas stay mindworm free. Goodbye.